It's Friday, November 3rd. And how's this for a headline this morning? Republicans save Rashida Tlaib from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene was leading an effort to have Rashida Tlaib censored by the Congress, and she failed. The votes were not in her favor. 13 Democrats refused to vote entirely, and then many Republicans sided with Tlaib. So the bottom line was they didn't get a two-thirds majority to censure Tlaib. And Tlaib has come out with some statements that are contradictory to her rant, her rave that was public against Israel, the anti-Semitic rave that she had. She now claims she's in favor of humanitarian efforts to free the hostages. And she's in favor of other humanitarian things that will help the people of Palestine. But she's not against Israel, really. But she's a true anti-Semite to the core, and no matter what she says now, in avoidance of the censorship, is not to be believed. So Greene made statements defending the censorship of Tlaib. And she mentioned that Tlaib was a leader in an October 18th rally at the Capitol that called for a ceasefire as an insurrection. Now, Greene is accusing Tlaib of running this insurrection because of this October 18th rally. And in addition to that, Greene also said that Tlaib was in favor of medic activity and sympathizing with the terrorist organizations, as well as leading this so-called insurrection at the United States Capitol. Well, if she was leading a rally, and Tlaib is known for many, many rallies that favor the Palestinian movements, then she was wrong. Tlaib is an anti-Semite. There's no question in my mind about that. And it's strange that we have Marjorie Taylor Greene on our side, so to speak. So clearly, the Democrats and the Republicans were split on this issue, and of course Greene's amendment, or whatever you want to call it, didn't get the necessary two-thirds vote, and 23 Republicans voted to table the thing. That means to dump it. Then there were the defenders of Tlaib's right who cited free speech concerns. Why can't we say what we believe? Is this nation trying to stop and muzzle all of those who are against the general public? No. Free speech is important, but not hate speech. That's not supposed to, you're not supposed to get away with that. And this clearly was a hate speech. I also find it very interesting that Greene is facing her own censure resolution from Representative Becca Balnett, who was accusing the conservative firebrand, as she identified Greene, of repeatedly fanning the flames of racism, antisemitism, and hate speech against the LGBTQ community. And she also accused her of Islamophobia, Asian hate, xenophobia, and other forms of hatred. So Greene has a reputation of her own that is in danger. Now, Greene has dismissed this entire thing that Balnick is accusing her of as retaliation against her resolution against Tlaib. So now you have a separation within the Congress of people who are siding with one another and fighting with one another. Perfect sense. Makes perfect sense to me based upon what I've seen of the shape of this nation right now. Now let's take a look at a bigger picture. Tlaib is the only Palestinian American member of Congress, and she is a staunch critic of Israel, which leads me to definitely believe that she is an anti-Semite. But part of that comes from being a Palestinian American. Point of fact, her constituency has a very small, if any, Palestinian Americans in it. I'll discuss that later. And so she's been under immense scrutiny because of her response to the Israel-Hamas war that we all know has killed many people on both sides. When I looked at her vitriol, I thought that her statements would be a reflection of her constituency. But I was wrong about that. Her constituency is not heavily Palestinian American. It's a wonderful mix of the kinds of people that have come to this country from all different parts of the world. Unfortunately, it is not a wealthy district. The average household income in that area is about $40,000 a year. So it's a poor district. And I am sure when looking at the information that I gathered in some census tracking, I am sure that most of the people in her district don't necessarily agree with her. And maybe they do, but it's not because of their nationalities or anything, because here's a description of her district. The median income is about $40,000. The district has about 675,000 people in it. And the largest ethnic groups in the district are black or African American, about 50% of them, white non-Hispanic about 33%, white Hispanic 3 or 4%, and other groups are very small. And 14% of the households in that district reported speaking non-English at home. Does that make them bad? No. They're perfectly good. It's just that they're on the poor side, I think. And home values average about $80,000. And 96% of the residents in that district are U.S. citizens. So it has nothing to do with Palestinian Americans in that district. This is an average district in the United States. And I'm sure that in this entire district there are very few Jews. And maybe that's what is slanting her vision. Maybe it's the fact that she has never come across Jews on a regular basis. And maybe she just doesn't understand Jews and how important they are to the world. So I leave you with that this morning. A woman who was obviously misguided, smart enough to get herself from immigrant parents through law school and to be elected to Congress. So I'll give her some credit for that, but I won't give her any credit for her misguided views on the Jewish population and on the Palestinian situation. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye. So green forms of hatred. So green antisemitism.